Hi, welcome to Rock and Metal Invasion. My name is Steve. Coming up on the show today, I'm going to be doing the CD bonus track. Now, what I'm not going to be doing is showing you all the CDs in my collection that have a bonus track because I'm more of a vinyl guy and not a CD guy. But here's the situation. Here's what happened back in the day, in around about 1988, when CDs were beginning to become more popular than the vinyl record. Record companies started putting out albums where the CD version of the album had what they would call a bonus track. Now, I'm not sure if it's like a bonus track or basically you get the whole album, but if you buy the record, you get one less track. I guess it depends on how you look at it. I kind of look at it as getting one less track. Of course, when you buy the record, the vinyl record, you don't know this. It's not like on the hype sticker, it contains one less song than the CD. But the CD would often tell you, so there'd be a sticker or something, perhaps on the cover that would tell you includes a CD only bonus track. And often, sometimes that bonus track would be on the cassette as well, because the cassette was still quite popular. But vinyl, I guess my thinking is they're trying to phase out the vinyl a little bit, trying to really encourage people to buy CDs. I think they probably made more money out of CDs with the cost of producing them and the cost that they could sell them for. So record companies were trying to encourage people to not buy the album on vinyl and to buy it on CD. So what ended up happening, a lot of albums from around that 88, but even 87, even ended a little bit earlier and a little bit later, 89, 90, there were albums that were released on CD and that had a bonus track. And then if you got the record, the vinyl of that album, you were missing a song. So I thought what I would do is go through my collection today, show you some of the albums I've got in my collection that are actually missing a song. And of course, like I said, it never told me that. I don't know this by looking at the record. I just know by sort of knowing or having seen the CD in shops and gone, oh, right, well, I didn't get that song. I'll talk a little bit about what the bonus song is that was missing. Sometimes it's like quite annoying because it's a good song and I would like to have had that on the vinyl version of the album. Like I say, I'm more of a vinyl guy, so I want the vinyl record. And of course, over the years, sometimes there's been reissues, and so it's been reissued on vinyl and it has ended up having that vinyl, that bonus track on it. But initially, this was a bonus just for the CD or sometimes for the cassette. The bonus track thing was quite often on the cassette as well, but they didn't tend to make such a big deal of that. But sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was CD only. And it was, often called CD bonus track, but then it would just be on the cassette as well. So yeah, and so I'll show you what I've got in my collection that does not have the bonus tracks, just in case maybe you've got that record as well, and you're interested to know about this a song that maybe you don't have that was not on the album, but you can get if you get the CD version of the album. And of course, as well, what often would happen with the CD only bonus track, it would be a B-side. So if you wanted to go off and get the 7-inch single or the 12-inch single, often you would find the CD only track, CD bonus track would be on the B-side of a vinyl single. So I did that for some of them. So some of these, I did end up getting a vinyl version of the song only by buying a single or 12-inch single, 7-inch single, something like that, so I could get that bonus track on vinyl. All right, so let's get into it. First one, Badlands, and great album. I've talked about this album quite a bit on my channel. Love this. This is the debut album with Jackie Lee on guitar, Ray Gillen on vocals. Just amazing, amazing debut album. And it is missing the song Ball and Chain. So Ball and Chain is a CD only bonus track. It's on the cassette version as well. And there's obviously with these scenes, usually, actually there are a few exceptions, but usually the CD bonus track is the last track on the album. So basically it's missing that song off the album. Ball and Chain would be normally the 5th song on the last side of the album, but not on the vinyl. And it's a good song too. And so, because I like that song, I mean, granted, thankfully, it's a good song. It's not, Dreams in the Dark or, Dancing on the Edge or Winter's Cool kind of quality, but it's still a very good song. it's never been released on vinyl that I know of. So there's no single with it on, so you can't actually get it on vinyl. So I don't have it, and I'm not interested in buying the album on CD just to get that bonus track. So I don't have it, but I have heard it. Of course, I've got it online and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so Ball and Chain is an example of that. Now that album was produced by Paul O'Neill, and this one was as well. This is Gutter Ballet, and this also came out with a bonus track called Thorazine Shuffle. And now this is the reissue. So as I said, sometimes the album does later on get reissued, and then they put the bonus track on there. So this is the reissue of this album on vinyl, and it does have the bonus track. So you can see here, Act 1, Act 2, no mention of Thorazine Shuffle, but what it did is pretty cool, actually. It comes with a 7-inch single, this reissue. So there it is there, Thorazine Shuffle, and the B-side of the 7-inch single is When the Crowds Are Gone, live at the Hollywood Palace, 1990. So I have got that one on vinyl now, but initially, if you wanted that song, you could only get it on the CD version and probably the cassette version of the album. And that's another Paul O'Neill production. Yeah, great album as well. Another great album, one of my favorite Aussie albums, No Rest for the Wicked. And they made a bit of a big deal of this because I think it was like right on the cover. It was actually printed on the cover on the CD, includes the bonus track. And the bonus track is a song called Hero. But there were other B-sides as well that were sort of like bonus tracks. Wasn't initially on the CD, but there are some good B-sides as well for this album. I do actually have Hero on a compilation, managed to track it down on vinyl on a compilation. But as far as the actual Ozzy Osbourne release, I don't have it because it's not on this vinyl version of the album. And I think there might have been reissues of this album as well, where they put that on there. It's on his B-sides album as well, which you can get on vinyl. But yeah, so there we go. It's not a bad song. I really like this album. But Hero, it's good. But it is what it is. It's actually, thankfully, kind of rare for the CD only track to be like the best song on the album, or a song that I really, really do want to have in my collection or on vinyl. But there are some good ones that, unfortunately, and I'll talk about them too. They're not on the vinyl version of the album, and it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, like I said, the reasons for that were, I think, they were trying to get people to buy CDs and not buy the vinyl. But funny how things change now, right? Because vinyl now supposedly outselling CDs. Although again, some people are arguing CDs now making another comeback. I don't know about that, but anyway, that's a conversation for another day. And also, I do want to also point out that this is not, I'm not talking about deluxe versions. Now, that's going to be a rant for another day, because I certainly would like to talk about that as well. So sometimes albums come out as deluxe versions, and that sort of was a bit after 1988, but you notice that quite a bit through the 90s when it was basically into the 2000s when it was just CD only. Sometimes they then come out with a deluxe version of the album. Sometimes it would come out at the start. Sometimes, though, it would come out after you'd already bought the album. They then reissue the album again as like a deluxe version. Really annoying. I'll talk about that some other time. But I'm not talking about that. So I'm not talking about sort of a deluxe version of the album. I'm talking about the album. It's released. When it's initially released, it has one extra. Usually it's just one extra track on the CD version of the album. And actually, I've got an example of the Ozzy Osbourne one here. Now, this one doesn't, I said it when it was released initially, the CD, even I've seen copies of it, has like on the actual cover, includes bonus track, or includes the song Hero, actually on the cover, not a sticker, actually on the cover. Now, this one doesn't, but this is a reissue. So it's a reissued, remastered, I think probably around 2004, I think this one, or 2002, it says, Sony Music. So it's got Hero, but it's not actually listed as a bonus track, because I guess it wasn't a bonus track. It was always on the CD version of the album. So it's not, but then it does have the bonus tracks, The Liar and Miracle Man Live. So The Liar was the B-side. So, yeah, so there's Hero as the ninth song. That's one of the few albums I do actually have a CD version of as well. But most of these, if I don't have, if there's a bonus track, CD bonus track, I haven't bothered to get the CD version of the album. I've either tried to get the single or just had to live with the fact that I don't have that song. Now, this one here, next one, Accept Eat the Heat. Now, I was on My Music Corner not that long ago talking about this album. Probably not one of Accept's, um, you know, critically acclaimed album, but or fan favorite album, but I quite like it. Go and check out My Music Corner where I talk about this album with the Johns, and I think I liked it more than them. But but yeah, of course we've got David Reese on vocals here, replacing Udo, so that's quite a big move for Accept, and they've gone a more commercial, as you can see from the cover, more commercial glam look, and sound as well has changed a little bit. But the thing about this album, there's different covers, there's different track listings, there's different order of the tracks, and there was a couple of songs that are on the CD version of the album. So, and it's a bit confusing because on some CDs you just get one bonus track, on some other CDs you get two. So the two songs are Break the Ice and Can't Believe in You. And so which are not on here. I do though, actually, because I quite like the album and I quite like the song. I've actually got the Generation Clash 12-inch single, which has as one of the B-sides, I Can't Believe in You. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame it doesn't have Break the Ice. That would have been nice. The two bonus tracks, It's just got D-Train, which is from the album. But I Can't Believe in You, I do have on vinyl because I've got the 12-inch single. All right, next one. Now, this is an interesting one. It's a bit of a throwaway bonus track anyway. I don't even think they made a big deal of it when it was on the CD, but Warrant Cherry Pie. The CD version has Ode to Tipper Gore on it, which is basically just a whole lot of profanity, a lot of swearing. But the record, for whatever reason, doesn't. It's only a 54-second song, if you want to call it that, basically just a whole lot of swearing. So it's interesting, though, they didn't put it on the vinyl. I don't know why, but it's on the CD. And it's called Ode to Tipper Gore. But and I'm not even sure if it's listed on the CD or not. It's not listed here, obviously, because it's not on here. But I'm not even sure if it's listed on the CD. It could be almost like a bit of a surprise hidden track or whatever. I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that it's on the CD but not on here. And yeah, Ode to Tipper Gore, just basically about the PMRC and how they're trying to sort of make sure that there is not offensive language perhaps on some albums, and sort of trying to give parents suggest that there's parental guidance warnings and so forth on albums. And yeah, so there's a sort of a fu to them. There's just Janie and whoever else in the band just saying a lot of swear words. All right, next one. Now this is one of those ones where it's like, what? It's the CD bonus track and it's not on the album. And it did annoy me a little bit because I really like the song. And it is a good song. And it was like there's a music video for it as well. So not only was it not on the vinyl version of the album, it was kind of released as a single. I mean, whether you call it a single, because I don't know if it actually was released as a actual physical single, but there was a music video for it. And the song I'm talking about is I Want to Be Your Man from Cocked and Loaded. So this is the LA Guns. And yeah, it's not on the vinyl version of the album. But because I like the song so much, I picked up the 7-inch single, The Ballad of Jane. Good song, of course. It was a bit of a hit for them. And the B-side has I Want to Be Your Man. So I have managed to get the track on vinyl. All right, next one, Bad Company. This is from 1988. Yeah, so like I said, 88 was the peak year for this bonus track thing. We'll find some from 87 or even earlier and even later as well, but definitely 88 was where there was a lot of this happening. And so yeah, Bad Company from Dangerous Age, and they've got a song on the CD version called Excited. It's quite a good song. I don't know how easy it is to get that song on vinyl. I don't know if it's a B-side or not. It might be one I might need to look into because I do like the song. I've heard it online, but yep, no Excited on here. It's a good rocker, that one. That song. Bit of a shame. Now, this one's an interesting one. This is MSG and Save Yourself. And there's a song on the CD version of this album called Take Me Back. And again, a really good song. I think I prefer the album after this, which is just called MSG, and even the album before this called Perfect Timing, so of the Macaulay Scheiker group. The three albums that they put out, and in the sort of late '80s, early '90s. Of the three, this is probably my least favorite, but there are some good songs on it, and I definitely like "Take Me Back." That's the CD only bonus track. It's a really good song, so I'm a bit annoyed it's not on here. But what's interesting is, and I reckon this must have been an accident, but if you get, and I don't have it, but if you get the UK, I think it's the UK press of this album, it's not listed, but they have actually put that song on the B side of the album. So on this, the last song on the album, and it's actually been pressed, even though it's not listed. And it's, I think, really only supposed to be on the CD version of the album. But the UK press does have the bonus track, Take Me Back. So there we go. But yeah, Take Me Back, good song. So I might have to replace that with the UK press maybe at some point. All right, next one, 220 Volt, Eye to Eye. This is their, I think, might be their third album. This one's 1989 on CBS Records. Some people might have a different album cover to this one. And yeah, there's a CD only track called On the Other Side, which I don't have, obviously, because I have the vinyl version of the album. This one's quite a well-known one. This is Mr. Big, their debut album. And 30 Days in the Hole is the CD bonus track for this one, which is a Humble Pie song. But I think from when I've heard it online, that it's a live version of them doing that song. So yeah, 30 Days in the Hole from their debut album. Not too unhappy about not having that, but yeah. Blonde on Blonde, female-fronted hard rock. Pretty good stuff, actually, this one. Labyrinths of Love. And the B-side, not the B-side, the CD-only track was a song called Miss You. And it's a good song. It's a good song. And you can, if you buy the 7-inch, there's a 7-inch single by Blonde on Blonde that has Miss You as the B-side. But it's quite pricey to buy. And I don't know if I like Miss You that much. But maybe I'll get it at some point. But it is, again, annoying because I like the song, but it's not on the album. It's a good album, though. All right, so there's that one. There's quite a few here. This could take a little while. John Norum. This is Total Control. This is his debut solo album. Now, what's interesting about this one is that the CD only song I actually do have, but that's because I've got the US press. So the US press does, and it has Wild One, Wild One included. But in the European press of this album, it's not on the vinyl, it's on the CD, and it's sort of, advertised as a CD bonus track. So, again, it's one of those things where if you get the album from a certain different country, then you will get the track that's only on the CD. But otherwise, yeah, you'll miss out on it. So it's kind of just one of those things. I didn't even know when I got this, right? Well, that's good. I got the American press because that's got Wild One on it. But if I'd got I don't know, the European press, yeah, like it doesn't have Wild One, just has 9 songs. But yeah, this one has, how many has it? How many does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, there's 11 songs on the album because yeah, there's 6 songs on side one. One is a short little instrumental, and 5 on side 2. So I've got 11 songs. But if you're in Europe and you got this album on vinyl, you'd only have 10. It wouldn't have a Wild One, which is the Thin Lizzy cover. Yeah, and it's amazing how much John Norum sounds like full on it. But yeah, there we go. Right, next one. Okay, this is an interesting one. Faster Pussycat, Wake Me When It's Over. And the bonus track, CD bonus track, is Please Dear. So this, obviously this is vinyl, so it doesn't have that song on it. And to my knowledge, there's no way you can get that song on vinyl. It wasn't even released as a B-side to any of the singles. So, yeah, that's okay. I'm not too upset about that. All right, next one. No, so next couple actually are greatest hits, which it's an interesting one, isn't it? Like if it's only the song's only on there's some CD bonus tracks for greatest hits. I guess because here's the thing, right? On CDs, you can fit 80 minutes of music, a lot less on vinyl. So they could have put for a greatest hits or whatever, you could put a lot more extra bonus tracks. on there, I guess, if you wanted to. So the Night Ranger Greatest Hits, that my one on vinyl has just 10 songs. The CD actually has 12. And so the CD has Eddie's Coming Out Tonight and Rumors in the Air, which are both really good Night Ranger songs. So, I mean, all the songs on here are pretty good too, actually. But well, it's just a shame. I would have thought, I could have squeezed that in there. Could have squeezed it on the vinyl, surely. But anyway, maybe not. So yeah, just I thought I'll mention a couple of greatest hits. It's probably more than just the ones I'm going to show. And of course, as we go into the 90s when it's just CDs, a lot of bands would just pack their greatest hits with sometimes 2 CDs and have lots of songs on it. But yeah, so there we go. Night Ranger Greatest Hits, missing those 2 songs, and this is also a little bit annoying because the song that's not on it is probably my favorite song by this band. So Triumph and Classics. So this one has 10 songs, but the CD version of this album actually has 11, and the CD version has A World of Fantasy, which, like I say, is probably my favorite Triumph song. I really like that song. So, obviously I've got the album, so I've got the album. It's from Never Surrender. This one here, yeah, A World of Fantasy, great song. So I've got it, but it would have been nice to have it on the greatest hits too, because it's one of my favorite songs. All right, next one. This is Gorky Park, Russian band, and they had a CD bonus track, and it is called Action. And the idea that I don't have that song, it's not a big deal for me. I've heard it. I'm not a huge fan of this album. There's a couple of okay songs, John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora co-write a song. Bang's not too bad, but I just never really got into it. They did another album after this, which you can get on vinyl, but I haven't sort of got around to getting it. It was interesting though. It was interesting at the time. They were obviously very popular when they played at the Moscow Peace Festival back in whenever that was, 1988, something like that. And they had big management at the time. They had the Doc McGee was sort of managing them for a while there. And you had John Bon Jovi and some big names sort of helping them out. But obviously big in Russia, I'm sure, at the time. But so they had a CD bonus track called Action. Next one, this one's probably a lot of people might know about this one. This is Winger. So their debut album had a song called Higher and Higher on it. And you can get it on a B-side, I think, on vinyl if you really want it on vinyl. But for me, I kind of understand it's probably one of the weaker songs on the album. Again, I sort of feel like saying, well, I can understand why it was a B-side. Well, it wasn't a B-side. It was a CD bonus track, so it's a little bit different. And like I say, you can get it as I think if you buy a single, one of the singles that were released, it is on vinyl. But I'm not too fussed about it. But I do like this album. It's a good album. But one I was fussed about getting that was a CD only song, and I thought I'm going to have to track this one down if I can, and I was able to find a single which had the CD only track as a B-side. Is Bonfire and Fireworks. Now, the album does not have the song Cold Days, but the most CD versions of the album does have the song Cold Days, and it's possibly would have been, if it had been on this final version of the album, would have been my favorite song of the album. I really like that song, and I really like this album too. So the fact that it's possibly better than all the other songs on this album just shows how much I like the song. Really good song. So I managed to get it though on the B-side of Give It a Try. So Cold Days, and then it's got SDI recorded live also as a B-side. But so it's on the 12-inch of Give It a Try. So all right, next one. Now this is one of the earliest that I know of and that I've got in my collection, an example of a CD bonus track. And it's interesting too because they put a lot of effort into the record cover as well. So this is Twisted Sister, and this is 1985. And they put out this awesome cover, like with D's like coming out of the manhole, really cool. So you'd think, well, that's going to really encourage people to go off and buy the record. But you go off and buy the record, you think maybe you're going to find out that the CD had a bonus track on it called King of the Fools. Yeah, quite a good song. I mean, it's kind of a bit doomy even. It's quite heavy song, but better than some of the songs that did make it on this album. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree that you know, um, leader of the pack, maybe not the best choice. Be cruel to your school. Yeah, a lot of the singles weren't the best choices. I mean, yeah, I like what do I like on this one? Oh, Kill or Be Killed. Kill or Be Killed. That's a good song. But yeah, this one was not the best follow up to, of course, Stay Hungry was such a big hit for them. But yeah, interesting. They've got this really. I love the album art though. It's really really awesome. But then yeah, if you bought the CD, you got the bonus track, King of the Fools, which is not a bad song, not bad. Right, next one. This is a bit obscure. I don't know if people know about this, but this is Matt Sinner and his album Back to the Bullet. You might be aware of the band Sinner. So that's Matt from Sinner, Matt Sinner. This is his solo album. I think maybe he's only done the one solo album. I'm not too sure, but certainly back in the 80s. He had a bit of a break from his band and put this out. This is probably 88, I think. Oh no, actually it's 1990. So it's came out in 1990, and if you get the CD version, it's got a pretty good song on it called "She's Got the Look," but which is not on the vinyl version. Yeah. And if you like Sinner, it's pretty much like a Sinner album, really, anyway. All right, next one. This is interesting because this is a bit later on. This is more, well, this one came out, I think, around 1991, maybe 91. Yeah, I think 91. And it's actually got two CD bonus tracks. So this is White Line and Main Attraction. I'm pretty sure it's 91 that this one came out, yeah. And of course, it was the final album with Vito on guitar. And the band pretty much split up, of course, kind of got back together, but, without Vito, without the classic lineup, so to speak. But the first three albums, of course, were pretty popular albums, especially the first two. I think obviously this is 1991, this type of music getting less popular, so it didn't do so good. And of course, then they split up. But the CD actually had a couple of bonus tracks on it, well, a couple of CD only tracks on it. And She's Got Everything is one of them. That's a really good song. So yeah, you can get that as a B side on a single. And then it's also got a song called Blue Monday, which is just an instrumental. But I know a lot of people really like Vito Bratta and his guitar playing. So yeah, if you want to hear that, you've got to get the CD version. I think it might be on a B side as well. But yeah, but it's not on the vinyl version of the album. So there we go. White Line, She's Got Everything, and Blue Monday. Some CD bonus tracks there. All right, okay, coming up. Right, next one. A band a little bit like Bonfire, where there's some songs on the album, or in this case, there's more than one. There's two that were not on the vinyl version of the album. So, but we're on the CD. So I actually managed to track down those two songs by getting a 12-inch single. So the band is Vamp, and their album, I think they just did the one, The Rich Don't Rock. This would have been probably 89 on Atlantic, produced by Tony Platt. I really like this album. It's got some good songs on it, but it is missing two really good songs, actually, Shout and Why. So they're not on here, but I managed to track down their 12-inch single, The Rich Don't Rock, and the B-sides are, well, actually it's called Why, and Shout. So it's got those those CD-only tracks on the B-side. So got those, and yeah, that's worth checking out if you like Vamp. Now, next one, this is a well-known band. This is Dio and Lock Up the Wolves. So Ryan Robertson comes in on guitar for this one, of course, and yeah, I think for me, it's after four amazing albums. The quality not quite as good on this album. Getting a little bit doomier, I feel, slowing down a little bit. Yeah, and it's just for me, not one of my favorites. First four, amazing. But yeah, still good, some good songs. And actually, the CD only track would be one of my favorite songs if it was on the vinyl version of the album. So it's a little bit annoying. Yeah, so the song is "Why Are They Watching Me?" So it's not on here. You can get it if you buy. I think and I've been sort of thinking about getting it at some point. I think there's a picture disc single or a 12-inch single as well, which has it on the B side there. But Why Are They Watching Me? Good song, not on the album. Another well-known band, Van Halen. Now, when they put out their album OU812, which I'm guessing was around about 1988, it had a CD bonus track on it called Apolitical Blues, and that's just an instrumental. But and Van Halen didn't really have a lot of extra tracks or bonus tracks or anything like that. But yeah, so that was not on the album, and this is the reissue, the box set that came out. I think it was this year. Yeah. So they didn't bother reissuing the album with that CD only track on the vinyl, but they issued a B-sides album, and so it's on there. So I do have that B-side on that. I think they called it Rarities, on the Rarities album that came in the box set. So, but it's just an instrumental, but yeah, good to have. But yeah, if you've got the CD version of this album, Apolitical Blues, you would have that song on your version of the album. All right, we're nearly coming to the end. A couple more to go. This is a band called Treat. This is their second album. It's called The Pleasure Principle. And this album is missing the song Steal Your Heart Away, which is a bit annoying because there's only 9 songs on the whole album. So the CD version, though, has 10, and that is the song Steal Your Heart Away. And it's a good song. And I do actually have it because I've got the 7-inch single. So Ride Me High was the single, and the B-side is Steal Your Heart Away. So Ride Me High, actually produced by Jean Beauvoir. But I think that's the only song on the album he produced. But and then the B-side Steal Your Heart Away is not on the vinyl version of the album. But there we go, I've got that. And next one. Now, I don't have the albums for this band, but I do have I have a cassette and I have a 7-inch single. So Extreme, when they put out their debut album, they did not include the song Play With Me, which was also on Bill and Ted's soundtrack, the Bill and Ted soundtrack. So if you got the CD of their debut album, it would have Play With Me on it, but not the vinyl version. So I do have the 7-inch single for Kid Ego, and it has Play With Me on it. So they're probably my 2 favorite songs from the debut album. So I'm kind of happy with enough good, but at some point I should probably get their debut album. Not a massive Extreme fan of the early stuff. I love the new album that they put out last year. That's really good. That's their best album for me. But but I do like these 2 songs, Kid Ego, Play With Me, and yeah, nice to have those on vinyl on the 7-inch single there. And then their follow-up, I do have only on cassette. So this is, I guess, an example of I do have the bonus track because I've got the cassette. If I had the vinyl version of this album, I would be missing the song, and it's a surprising one. So the cassette or the CD has the song Wholehearted, which was actually a bit of a hit. There's a music video for it, but initially, anyway, if you got the vinyl version of this album, it did not have Wholehearted on it. Of course, this is 1991, I think, something like that. They're really phasing out the vinyl anyways, and a lot of people were sort of buying only CDs and tapes at that point anyway. But interesting that it's missing like one of the singles, one of the big hits, Wholehearted. So I've got a cassette of that album, so I do have that song. And the last one to mention, The Cult and Sonic Temple. The Cult were always quite into having quite a few B-sides. You buy their singles, you often get a non-album track on it. But if you bought the CD of this album, it would have a song on it called Medicine Train. So this vinyl version of the album does not have the song Medicine Train. But again, this has been reissued on vinyl, and it's on the reissued version along with other B-sides and so forth as well. Now, there's probably other examples also that I may even have in my collection. It's difficult to know because I don't know, right? Like I said, it doesn't tell me on the record. It's missing a song. If you had the CD version, it would have the song on it. These are just what I sort of know about from having sort of, researched and, looked in music shops or heard songs and gone, oh, I didn't know about that song. So there we go. But let me know. As I say, it's sort of around that 87 to 89 period was sort of the peak sort of time where the CD only or CD bonus tracks were really happening. But hey, let me know if I'm missing out on some songs that I'd be interested in hearing, or maybe you know, maybe there's some way to get it on vinyl, or at least I'm still interested in having it digitally, or, you know, if it's worth buying, I'll get it. So, yeah, let me know if there's some CD only tracks that weren't released on initially, at least on the vinyl version of the album. I'd be interested in knowing about it. All right, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so you can be made aware of any future episodes. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. See ya.